What if I told you that the most feared warriors in Greek mythology weren't gods, nor were they men? They were women. Women who made kings tremble, who battled demigods to their knees, and whose very existence was a challenge to the patriarchal order of the ancient world. This is the story of the Amazons, a tribe so fierce, so relentless that their legend refuses to die. 1. Origins in chaos. The Amazons didn't just appear out of nowhere. They were born out of chaos, in a time when the world was ruled by might, not right. Their origin story is a bloody tapestry woven from the desires of gods and the suffering of mortals. Descended from Ares, the embodiment of raw, unbridled violence, and the nymph Harmonia, a being of untamed nature, the Amazons were bred for one purpose: war. But this was not the strategic, calculated warfare of Athena. No, this was warfare in its purest, most savage form. The Amazons were the daughters of chaos, and they embraced their legacy with blood-stained hands. Far from the prying eyes of the so-called civilized world, the Amazons carved out their own domain, an island fortress shrouded in mystery and dread. Here, men were not allowed to set foot unless they sought death. This was a place where the natural order was upended, where women did not just survive, they thrived in power, in strength, in dominance. Imagine a society where every woman is a warrior, where every breath is a battle cry. The Amazons didn't just reject the world of men. They created an entirely new world in its place, one that defied the norms, one that was feared and misunderstood by all who dared to speak its name. 3. The bloodline of queens. Throughout their history, the Amazons were led by queens whose names are etched in the annals of myth and legend. These were no mere figureheads. They were warriors who led from the front, their swords dripping with the blood of those foolish enough to oppose them. Hippolyta, the queen whose magical girdle was so coveted that it drew the mighty Heracles into conflict. Penthesilea, the queen who stared down the unstoppable Achilles, her heart burning with the fury of 1,000 wars. These queens were more than rulers. They were the very embodiment of Amazonian wrath, living symbols of a defiance that would never be tamed. 4. War as a religion. For the Amazons, war was not just a means to an end. It was a religion. From the moment they could walk, Amazonian girls were trained in the art of death. Their childhoods were a crucible of pain and discipline, where weakness was purged and strength was forged. They fought not for glory, not for conquest, but because war was in their blood. Imagine a society where peace is seen as a disease, where the only cure is battle. These women didn't just live for war, they lived through war. Every skirmish, every conflict was a testament to their unbreakable will, a declaration that the Amazons would not be forgotten, could not be defeated. 5. Myths and realities. But what were the Amazons really? Were they just a myth, a fantastical creation of Greek imagination meant to warn men of the dangers of powerful women? Or were they based on something more tangible, something real? Some historians point to the Scythians, the Sarmatians, warrior cultures where women fought alongside men, wielding the same weapons, facing the same dangers. Could these real-life warrior women have been the inspiration for the Amazons? Or were the Amazons a projection of Greek fears, a nightmare vision of what women could become if they were not kept in their place? The truth, as always, lies somewhere between the lines of history and myth. 6. The Amazonian Challenge. The story of the Amazons is more than just a tale of battle and bloodshed. It is a challenge to the very foundations of Greek society. The Amazons were the antithesis of everything the Greeks held dear. They rejected marriage, motherhood, and the domestic life. They rejected the idea that women were meant to be subservient, passive, or weak. Instead, they forged their own destiny with steel and fire. The Amazons dared to ask the question, what if women were not just equal to men, but superior? What if the natural order was a lie, and power belonged to those who had the strength to take it? 7. The downfall of heroes. The greatest heroes of Greek mythology, men like Heracles, Theseus, and Achilles, all faced the Amazons, and in doing so they faced their own worst fears. These women were not just warriors, they were a mirror reflecting the darkest desires and insecurities of the men who opposed them. Heracles, the embodiment of masculine strength, was brought to his knees by Hippolyta's cunning. Achilles, the greatest warrior of his age, was undone by his desire for Penthesilea. These encounters were not just battles, they were tests of what it truly means to be a hero, and whether the Greek ideal of heroism could survive the challenge of Amazonian power. 8. The modern Amazon. But the Amazons didn't die with the end of Greek mythology. Their legacy lives on, not just in the stories we tell, but in the symbols and icons of our modern world. Wonder Woman, the most famous of all Amazons, is a direct descendant of this myth. But she is more than just a superhero. She is a cultural icon, a reminder that the fight for equality is far from over. The Amazons challenge us, even today, to reconsider our ideas about power, gender, and what it means to be strong. They are a reminder that the battle for equality is not just a battle of the past. It is a battle of the present and the future. 9. A legacy of defiance. The Amazons may have been defeated in the myths, but their spirit was never broken. Their story is one of defiance, of refusing to accept the roles that society imposes. It is a story that continues to resonate because the struggles they embodied are still with us. The Amazons remind us that true strength lies not in physical power, but in the refusal to be tamed, to be controlled. They remind us that the fight for freedom, for equality, is never over, and that it is a fight worth waging, no matter the cost. The Amazons were more than just warriors. They were revolutionaries. They were a living, breathing rebellion against the constraints of their time, and their legacy is a call to arms, a reminder that we too must fight every day for the world we want to live in. So what will you do with the legacy of the Amazons? Will you let it fade into history, or will you take up their mantle and continue the fight? The choice is yours. This is not just a story, it is a challenge. A challenge to think, to question, to fight. What do you think? Were the Amazons heroes or were they villains? Does their legacy inspire you, or does it frighten you? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the myths that still shape our world.